know, the book once a week. So that's how much I read, but sometimes that changes. One book per week, depending on what I'm reading and what do I need to do to take action on it. Because sometimes when you read lots of actionable books, then it becomes just too much information, you know, and you can't really take action on it, and then you just forget about it.
Yeah.
So I recommend what you said, the reading, and he said the reading one book per month, but only if you already know why you're reading those books and what you want to get out of it. But if you don't know those things, then I recommend that you read one book 4 times instead of like 4 books in 1 month. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because so many times when you read the book and you read it the second time, you find new things because your brain is a completely different state of mind.
Yeah.
So if you know what you're looking for, you will get that thing out of the book. You know what I mean? But if you don't know and just reading, you're missing out so much information. Yeah.
That's a good tip.
Yeah.
That's a really good tip. Yeah, and implementation is important too. So many people, and I know there's people that went to the conference that are already back in their same routine or their same rut as before. So when you're reading these books, making sure that you are implementing what you're learning and you're taking action. Because you can go to all the conferences in the world, you can read all the books in the world, but if you're not implementing it, it's a waste.
You know, if you want to grow the wage that you're earning, you're always going to earn the wage of a personal trainer unless you stop doing the work of a personal trainer. True. And so that's where it gets capped, is the fact that you're never going to out earn your employees unless you stop doing the same work that they're doing, because that's your value to the marketplace. You have to increase your value by increasing what you're actually doing with your time. And when you start investing your time at a higher level, you're going to get a higher level return, and it won't be capped by how many hours you can work. It's a very limited way, and it's how we've been taught as employees to think. Owners need to earn based on how much they can get out of their investments, out of what they've built, not out of their time.
I think most people are afraid to teach other people their skill. And I'm all about learn everything I know. I want you to know it because that's going to make me go do something else. And that's so exciting. So please take what I know. Take my cooking skills, take my management skills, take my leadership skills, just take them. So I'm very big into training people. That's my #1 focus. So as a leader, my focus is people. Beautiful. And their focus is the customer.
Yes.
So
you guys make sure to take note of that. That's very, very important.
Yeah.
It's because most personal trainers make the mistake that, I mean, gym owners, that they actually step out of their role of not managing, basically leading their team, and they step in and take care of the customers instead, which is why they usually fail and get dragged back into the business.
Yes, it's like our focus has to be on the people, so they could be doing that, and growing the business in general and bringing more leads in and things like that.
I assume that's also what you use to create content for all your clients, friends, and family, or the problems that they come to you. Is that what you create for content, or how do you pick?
I generally pick based on what can I do to best help people, because there's a lot of fun things to do, and that's a common thing that I see is we are also as creators interested in so many different things. And there's so many things to create, and so it's easy to sort of spread ourselves in 10 different directions going nowhere. So I had to ask myself, what do people come to me for the most, and how can I really leverage my own strengths to help people as best as I possibly can? Because I don't know everything, you know? So the best that I can help, what can I do to sort of narrow that focus and create content around that specifically?
I feel like the bottom baseline, you need to sit down, look at yourself in the mirror, and say, is this truly what I love to do? Because if you can say, like, this is my calling in life, you're going to be successful.
Exactly.
You know, even if you don't make, you know, the money you want, you're still gonna love to go to work every day. You know, and like when I go to work, like it's like I'm training my friends. I'm like hanging out with my friends. I'm making my friends and my family better. You know, and I'm getting paid for it. But essentially, like like that money exchange is like irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? It's just like sometimes like they come to you just for like the positivity and the good vibes, or it might be like the only time that they get like any kind of like positive outlet in their entire work day or like the whole week. You know.
I think that what's so wonderful about business is that if you do get depth in something and you do something really well, you're not going to have any limitations with opportunities. There are always going to be opportunities, but you're going to have learned what your strengths are, what excites you, and carry those into the next arena, rather than just depending on, well, this one tactic worked for us. I mean, years ago, I remember when you'd see gyms fill up completely running a couple Groupons.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And, those gym owners might have thought, well, hey, we're really good at this, our gym's full. But really, they were relying on one tactic, and they hadn't perfected any one thing, or even, got to a level of excellence in any one thing. And so if they tried to scale, when Groupon dried up, they were in trouble. Whereas if you do get depth with something, you can say, well, these are the things that I'm good at. These are the things I can look back and say, they led me to this, and those traits are going to carry over. I mean, if I look back, the things that allowed me to be a pretty successful college baseball coach are all the exact same things that have helped me in business.
Oh, how do you get started on writing a book? This is the thing. This is one of those things where if you don't do this one thing right, you could very easily never finish the book or write a really bad book. The first thing you have to do is you have to determine who the audience member is. Like, who's the reader, right? And what most people do is that I ask people all the time in business who want to write a book, I go, well, who should read your book? And the worst answer you could ever say is everybody. Everybody needs to read my book. Well, maybe that's true, right? But the fact is, if you try to write a book for everyone, it's not going to speak to anyone. But if you write a book to one person, it'll speak to the masses, right? And so I'll use an example of this. If you remember, you've read The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss,
yes.
right? Tim Ferriss did such a good job writing that book. He wrote it for the person who does not want to own a brick and mortar building, probably a solopreneur who needs to outsource the majority of their services and their responsibilities to other people such that they can have a very low expense life, therefore have a very high margin quality life. And it was very specific to that. I read that book, and most of that stuff didn't apply to me because I have a brick and mortar building, lots of employees, right? But there were just a few gems in that book, not in terms of strategy, but in terms of philosophy, that spoke so closely to me. I ended up deleting all the things that didn't apply to me and generalizing the whole book to go, it's like he was in my house describing my life and how I think, right? And other people say that as well, but the thing is, they've deleted the things that didn't apply to them and generalized. And so we could be talking about the same book, but our experiences are completely different. If you write a book for just one specific target, what happens is, as people read it, they'll fill in the blanks to make it fit into their life. Worst thing you could ever do is write a book for everyone. Best thing you could ever do is write a book for one person.
You're always go, 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 go. But we have to have time of just nothing, where we stop and just breathe, because that's when all of the information that just happened is going to go into our minds and get processed to figure out what's the best thing that we can do next. Exactly. You know, and me, just like everybody, I feel like I was definitely an extreme case because I was so, you know, go, 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 to where I never gave myself enough time to stop and reflect, stop and breathe, and to let everything that was going on process. And when everything is processed, then all of a sudden, that's when your best ideas come. You know, because we have to be able to quiet our minds down enough to listen to our highest, most purest self.
I think it ultimately comes down to priorities. Yes. And I think so many people lose sight and they think they don't have time. And one of my best mentors told me that priorities are never in conflict. And if you think about it, it's so true, and it's ultimately, what is your priority? That's what you're spending time on. Don't tell me you don't have time to work on a business or work on your craft when you're spending 2 hours a night watching Netflix or going out and partying with your friends. Like, cool, that's your priority then. Like, understand that it's not a time thing, it's what your priority and what your focus is. Spend time. When I was reading the book, I knew my priority wasn't sleep. Like, now I try and prioritize sleep because I know how important it is. But like, I knew going into that, I am not going to prioritize sleep. I'm prioritizing writing this book and getting it out. And so that concept of time is just it's such an important topic. And I think understanding that whatever your priority is, focus on that.
if I got to judge our candidates on just a single criteria, if I had to pick just one thing that I look for when I'm trying to hire great folks, and this is oversimplified, but if I had to pick one, I look for the feeling that when someone leaves the interview and the interview's over, I want the feeling like, I can't wait to see you again.
Great.
Right? I can't wait to hang out with you again. That was so much fun. I want to go to lunch with you. Like, can we hang out again sometime? Because that's the feeling you want people to leave your gym with every day.
Yes.
I can't wait to come back here. I can't wait to spend more time with Daniel. I can't wait to be here tomorrow. Did I schedule my appointment? Let me make sure I schedule my appointment because I want to spend more time with this person. When I'm with them, I feel like I'm challenged. When I'm with them, I feel like they see me and they hear me and they care about me. And so in an interview, that's the only thing I really care about. And all too often when I talk to fitness business owners, they're just looking at their credentials. Yeah. What certifications did they do, right? I'm like, that's the last thing I care about. And certainly in my position, it's not my job to care about that. Yeah. But I have other people on my team who care more about that. And so it's not that it's not important that they can be a good technical coach. But from my perspective, and I think this is backed up by a lot of people's experience who will be listening to this, it's more important to have people who can create a great experience than have the 5 most perfect cues for coaching a deadlift.
Yes.